Hey friends, it's Kasie from the Building and Coffee Show, and we're coming to the end of our 2025 book journaling year. And this is going to be my yearly wrap up. So let's get started. My journal is a yearly journal. I do not separate my reads by month. So I can tell you that I have read 77 books in 2025. What type of books do I read? Well, let's just be clear that that's 77 books that include physical books, audiobooks, graphic novels, and fictional podcasts. Let's take a look inside and see how the year turned out. We're going to start in the back of my journal, where I have spaced things out the airlock. I challenge everybody, when you're DNFing, delights not found, can we please stop using a graveyard and think outside the box? Wait till you see Rachel's journal for 2026. She thought of something pretty clever. My 2026 journal, it's still spacing things out the airlock. And these are the titles that I spaced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, 7 titles. That's not too bad. A couple of these titles were spaced because of the narration. I really need to have a good narrator for my audiobooks, otherwise I'm not going to stick with it. We'll talk more about narrators in a little while. Let's get back to the challenges. The next challenge that I had to complete would be my alphabet challenge. And good news, I did it. I completed the entire alphabet, and I know everybody's thinking, how did you get some of those crazy letters? Let me just give you some highlights. J, Gem and the Holograms, graphic novels, because those count. Graphic novels count. The letter Q, I had to go into some manga for that. So Q, Ko-chan, amazing, really cute, adorable artwork. Let's talk about some of these harder letters. The letter U. Well, being a Star Trek fan, the USS Cerritos Handbook fit the bill for that particular letter. X. Everybody struggles with that letter. I'm going to tell you about a really cool series that's going to help you with your alphabet challenge for this year and many more to come. It's called The Xenophobe's Guide to, and then pick your region. I read to the Americas. Rachel has Scotland, and we picked up a couple others, so look for those in our future 2026 alphabet challenge. And then the letter Z. The letter Z was definitely one of the hardest challenges, not just because it was tough to find a title, but the title I did find was called Zong, Z-O-N-G. It's a poetry book. I highly recommend that you read everything in the beginning and at the end before you actually get into that poetry. Look it up, read about it. It's historical poetry. I do want to point out in my 2025 journal, it was a lot of scrapbooking that had happened. I was just really trying to find my way in this book. Of course, everybody, we do have our beautiful bookshelves. All of my books, they were drawn, highlighted, stickered. After a while, I decided I needed bigger books because I like to write everything huge. But my shelves are very, very full. For a while, I was tracking vocabulary words, and we had our Wacky Word Wednesday series. You'll see that pop up every now and then in our 2026. Now let's talk about our map challenge. This one was extraordinarily difficult for the Americas. Poor America. We did manage to get Hawaii in there, though. I was pretty impressed with that. I did read The Xenophobe's Guide to the Americas. I kind of feel like that meant I could color everything in my map, but I was going to be fair about it. I don't know how come I couldn't find some more states to read about, but there it was. Then I read a lot of sci-fi, so I had to go off-world. These are my off-world pages, and I put in planets and the names. Don't worry, you'll get to see what my 2026 journal looks like. I actually had to go bigger. Some more off-worlds. Is the map stuff truly a challenge? It could be. In the world of sci-fi, no, it's just fun. Now, let's just go into the rest of the world. I definitely had a hard time finding things from South America. But as soon as we head over to Europe, apparently I like a lot of not America's region. I'm pretty proud of what I did get to color in. Oh, I used an old world map, but this time I have a whole new map. Don't worry. Go to Turn the Page Tuesday. You'll get to see all of my 2026 journal in there. The next part of my 2025 journal was Story Quest. Story Quest is something that Rachel and I created for you, and it's free. Just go to thespilledInkandcoffeeshow.com and check it out. You can do the online Story Quest. It has background music. You can click through the map. It's almost like another reading challenge. So if you click a quest, then that's the reading challenge. Or how I set mine up is I use the stickers, which you can download and print, and I put all the little numbers just anywhere on the map. And then I was just going to connect the dots at the end for fun, assuming that I completed all the quests. Let's see how that turned out. Oh no, quest 1 and 2 and quest number 5. I was unable to complete those quests this year. A book where a character has an absurdly specific phobia like fear of pickles. I did not read a book that met that quest. A book that made me rethink my favorite color. Quite honestly, I think every moment of every day I rethink my favorite color. A book where the villain is defeated by something embarrassingly simple. I guess I don't read a lot of books that have villains that have simple things. Let's see another quest. A book where someone gets lost in a place where no one should realistically get lost, like a bathroom. I did not read any books where somebody got lost. A book where someone wears an outfit that's so ridiculous it deserves fan art. I honestly wish I read a book that had exactly that, and I would try and fan art it for you. The great thing about Story Quest is that I can go and try this whole quest all over again. You have many ways that you can put this into your book journal. For my 2026 journal, I'm doing Story Quest 2.0. There is a second Story Quest available for you, so go check it out. Now let's get actually into the journal, and you can see how my journal started evolving. All the way up until I decided I needed to get a coffee cup stamp, and I needed to create the sticker, which is also free. If you just click the link in our bio, you can get all the good things. So on my sticker, it is a date, the title, the author, the format, the genre, the publisher, your favorite character, the narrator, and who is it translated by. These are all very important things that Rachel and I like to keep track of, and now it's the time you've all been waiting for. You want to know what my best and my worst books were of 2025. My worst books for 2025. These are books that I read and did not space out the airlock. Begins with Holly Jackson's, I'll put the little book up here or here, As Good as Dead. I really enjoyed the series, but when we got into that third book, child, I do not know what was happening. The next worst book of 2025 is P.A.R. Golf. Look, I'm not even going to tell you the author. There's the picture. If you ever see that picture, just don't buy the book. I don't even know what I was reading. I will tell you it's very questionable. Very questionable. Sure it is. It's about golf. But I was expecting too much. We'll just leave it at that. So those were the two worst physical books of 2025. And for me, the worst audio book was Wearing the Lion. Sadly to say. And it had to do with the narrations. The narrators, I just couldn't get with it. No matter what speed I put this at one point, I was feeling like it was turning into, I don't know, a little cabaret-ish. And then another, go the other way, and it's just too kiddish. And gosh, I really wanted to love that audiobook. So sorry, Wearing the Lion. I read it, but you were not my favorite. Rachel and I enjoy being ARC readers. That means advanced reader copies. And I specialize in children's book. And my favorite children's book of 2025 that was an advanced reader copy, Moonbeams and Rhyme Dreams by Derek Allen. If Dr. Seuss and Jim Henson and Brian Froud all had a baby, that's the children's book. Chef's kiss. Thank you for that one. The best 2025 graphic novels. Now I have a top 3. So let's just take a quick look at that. And then I will give you my overall pick. Warp Your Own Way. It is a Star Trek Lower Decks Choose Your Own Adventure graphic novel. Gem, Showtime. I had no idea this existed. And Usagi, Ice and Snow. And the winner of my best graphic novel of 2025 is, there it is, Warp Your Own Way, Lower Decks. I still haven't gotten out of this adventure alive, and I've done more than 7. Now, the best audio of 2025 is a little bit harder. We have a top 4. The Golem and the Genie, Remarkably Bright Creatures, The Answer is No, and The Hail Mary Project. This decision is extraordinarily difficult because the narration, the narrators, the acting, the storytelling that was coming through my phone and my Bluetooth to my ears or my car, it is, I can't even explain. There are no words for it. The Golem and the Genie, just the story in general, was fabulous. And then we're going to put that with Michael Urie narrating Remarkably Bright Creatures. That one was hilarious. Now I really need to give some props to The Answer is No, the narrator for that audiobook, because she had me cracking up. She could do all the voices. This is pretty impressive. So nod to that narrator. But I think in the end for me, it was The Hail Mary Project as my #1 audiobook of 2025. It combined narration, it combined storytelling, the writing of it, the acting, the voices, and when you have a little alien that doesn't speak English, it was able to just jump out at me, and I felt very emotionally connected to this being by listening to my narrator speak the words of the author. And this is words that are more in keyboard sound. It's an incredible feat that was, for me, why we're the #1 audiobook of 2025. This was a recommendation by Rachel, so I am forever grateful. By the way, it's going to be a movie. Please audiobook it before you watch the movie. Now we're getting to the best physical book of 2025 in my opinion. This is an even bigger list. 77 reads. I think the list is going to be a bit bigger than normal. The Dream Quest of Velvet Bow. Before the Coffee Gets Cold. An elderly lady is up to no good. The Bones Beneath My Skin. The Spell Shop, and The Enchanted Greenhouse. And I wish I had a drum roll for you, because I really want to tell you my top pick, which is going to be a shocker. At least I know it is for Rachel. But my top pick is, oh, you're going to have to wait, because I want to talk about a few of these. The Dream Quest of Velvet Bow. It really took me by surprise. It's an older book. It was published a while ago, and it was just very unexpected. I found it at a thrift store. Delightful surprise. very magical. I'm going to say a lot of these were very magical. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, it's a translation from Japan. It was originally a stage play. I absolutely fell in love with it. I didn't realize it was a play until the end when I read the author's note. The whole time I was picturing directing this on a stage. I think this would be an amazing piece to direct. I enjoyed it very much. An elderly lady is up to no good. He, he, he. Oh my goodness, I can't even express. It's a very tiny, small book. Please, Helen, she did a great job. There's a sequel to it. It's even better. So that snuck in there as a British comedy. You will not be disappointed. I kind of admire this woman. I hope that I'm gonna grow up to be just like her. Of course, The Spell Shop and The Enchanted Greenhouse. I got the recommendation from Rachel last year. Again, I'm always a little late to the party, and that's okay because I tend to read not the mainstream side of things. I'm not on Book Talk scrolling and seeing what the big recommendations are, and that's why we have Rachel. I enjoyed Sarah Beth Durst. I just couldn't put the books down. But now you're ready to find out the one that I couldn't put down, the one that I am hoping becomes a movie, the one that I think about. The last line of that book I repeat in my head at least 4 times every day, and that is The Bones Beneath My Skin by T.J. Klune. It was a book that he wrote that Tor Publishing took a chance on when no one else would. And oh, thank you, Tor. You're one of my favorite publishers because you march to the beat of a different drummer, and I'd like to think that we're both marching in the same band. This book just really made me cry in all of the best ways, and I can't really tell you too much about it. We did review it. Go back and listen to those episodes. But if I tell you anymore, you're going to know the ending. I did not audio this book. I read it, and I was very happy that I made that decision to read it. The Bones Beneath My Skin, Artemis Darth Vader. Love that character. All right. Now, there are a few other things we need to talk about that I'd like to give, I don't know, honorable mention or maybe even just an award, such as the best sci-fi of 2025. I'm actually giving that to the Hail Mary Project. And again, I read a lot of sci-fi. It was the audiobook that just edged that out of all of the sci-fis that I read. So now we're actually going to go talk about poetry. Not a lot of people read poetry, and since I do, I want to give some shout outs and nods to some of my favorite poetry that I've read this year. The Employees, Zong, The Black Flamingo, and Space to Inspire. All of these poetry books were accompanied with something a little different, whether it be the style of poetry and the way it was written, or the artwork that accompanied the poetry. Space to Inspire uses an app to give you augmented reality with the art piece. Dr. Proctor, she is an astronaut, a poet, and an artist, and in my mind, a brilliant innovator. I really suggest that you go check out Space to Inspire. And if you are a STEAM or STEM teacher, please get this in your classroom, get the app, and look at how augmented reality is being used. More importantly, this is a female, African-American astronaut, and she's doing great things. Gosh, I really wish that she had all of her stuff in schools and that she was doing a school tour. I know that she's working on a graphic novel right now, but I really, really reach out to anybody who's in STEAM, STEM, science, or art and technology. Please just go check out the book. You will not be disappointed. Now, I want to also mention Zong, which is historical poetry, not fiction, historical poetry. It talks about how these African slaves were forced to jump off of a ship so the ship could be burned and claimed for insurance money. And the poetry, the words were taken from the lawsuit against the insurance company and the ship and captain. Just the easiest way for me to explain it. I'm not a lawyer, but it was brilliant. And the history, and it's definitely, give it a go. The Black Flamingo. This was a blind date with a book that Rachel brought back to me on her travels overseas. And I was pleasantly surprised. She had no idea what it was that she grabbed, just that it was a LGBTQ and that it was a poetry book. The artwork is stunning. The story is beautiful. I really want everybody to pick this up. It is something to inspire you, to remember we're all on our own personal journey. Go watch my review regarding The Black Flamingo. For me, the 2025 best poetry book is called The Employees. The Employees is poetry that's told as a story. They're personal entry logs of people on a ship in space, of course. I am not giving you any more details about this poetry book. It's something that I found, again, at a thrift store. I just caught my eye. The picture has a water cooler on the front with something that looks like black ink coming out, or oil. I just read the jacket cover and I said, sure, let's check it out. And lo and behold, just when you thought we were done with my 2025 book journal wrap up, oh, no. Here we go. We are doing best or favorite character of 2025. And the nominees are Maud from The Old Lady is Up to No Good, Artemis Darth Vader from The Bones Beneath My Skin, Gollum and the Genie, Marcellus from Remarkably Bright Creatures, Kaz from The Spell Shop, and Lottie from The Enchanted Greenhouse. Now, I'm sure you're all thinking Artemis Darth Vader is my favorite. And don't get me wrong, she's on the list. Maud, of course, I want to be Maud when I'm her age. I mean, minus the killing part. She's very clever. So who is it going to be? In the end, is it going to be Marcellus, which was narrated by Michael Urie? Or is it going to be our little sentient plants, Kaz and or Lottie? Well, I'm going to have to go with Marcellus. Oh my stars. Thank you, Michael Urie. You helped bring that character very forward. That was my first contemporary fiction in a really long time. And you, your voice, your acting, and how well the character was written has opened my eyes to more contemporary fiction. But guys, it's Michael Urie. I mean, doesn't he have like all the awards anyway? Well, now you get another one. Okay, we're going to the best series of 2025 for me, Kasie. And I only have two on the list. An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good. There's a second book in that series. And The Spell Shop. There are two books currently in that series with a third one on the way. So the winner is going to be An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good. Can't judge a series and give it an award if the series isn't over. But to my knowledge, we're not going to see Maud's books again anytime soon. And I said we were getting back to narrators because I think narrators are important, and that's why I started keeping track of them. Again, if you're not a good narrator, I'm not listening to the author's audiobook. So let's see who my nominees are for the best 2025 narrators. That would be Marin Ireland and Michael Urie for Remarkably Bright Creatures, and George Goodall for The Gollum and the Genie. And the award goes to George Goodall for The Gollum and the Genie. He is my favorite narrator thus far. I love all of the voices this actor does. He really has this amazing, deep, smooth, rich Anthony Hopkins vibe about him, a deep timbre in his voice. He does all of the voices. I almost feel like I am listening to, Father Christmas tell me a story. His voice reminds me of Anthony Hopkins if you close your eyes and listen to his voice, or Henry Cavill when you close your eyes and listen to his voice. His voice reminds me of Anthony Hopkins when I close my eyes, and Henry Cavill as the Witcher more specifically. And George really does these characters quite well. I felt like I was sitting in front of a grandpapa and listening to all of the stories of the times from the before four times. It's truly magical. It resonates with you. He has such a talent, and please look him up as a narrator, because I think that you will enjoy all of his narrations. As I flip through, it is time to do our book awards. Now, my awards are some weird ass awards. That's actually what I titled the page for next year. Again, go to Turn the Page Tuesday on YouTube and see what that says. Awards. The first award is for the books that made me hungry. That would be Search for Spock and Scrambled Eggs and Whiskey, which is a poetry book. The next award, the Hidden Gem Award. I gave the Hidden Gem to The Longest Day of the Future, Trevor Howard's Adventure in Key West. The artwork is super cute. I'm waiting for Rachel to read it. And Pumpkin Spiced. Now, let me tell you, I've been talking to this author. She writes this whole fantasy about the Mothman, which is great. I'm excited. But I really need you to go find Pumpkin Spiced, find the author, and say, bring them all back. It's adorable little graphic novel series. I should have read it years ago. Well, all of David Sedaris. For real, guys. All of David Sedaris. The Forgotten Beasts of Eld, The Dream Quest of Velit Bow, and The Golem and the Genie. Now, I had a category for bad sex, but I'm not reading romances. That's Rachel's department. Most creative, Uprooted. Enough said. Now, the books that won the biggest gasp award, As Good as Dead. I was gasping because I couldn't believe how terrible it was. And gasping, The Scampering. It's been scandalous. We've been passing this book around in our reading group, and everybody feels the same way. Who wrote this thing? I guess I should have put that in my worst, but it really wasn't the worst. The Weird Ass Pictures Award, because I like to read graphic novels, mangas, and sometimes just picture books that have no words. And so those went to Something at the Window is Scratching, Kyuko-chan, and A is for Asteroid. Grab of the Tissues, Remarkably Bright Creatures, and The Golem and the Genie. The Pissed Me Off Award. Well, As Good as Dead made the list again. Christmas Lore and Warp Your Own Way. It's just pissing me off, guys, because I've read it like more than 7 times and I can't not die with any of these adventures I choose. The Most Unexpected Award. The Bones Beneath My Skin, Siddhartha, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and Star Trek, Legion of Superheroes. This is a crazy graphic novel that takes DC and mashes it up with Star Trek. However, it was very unexpected because it was actually done really well. The Most Inspiring. That would be The Black Flamingo and Space to Inspire. I love poetry that combines beautiful art that has movement and innovation and something that's just different. Laugh Out Loud Award. This went to The Answer is No, Remarkably Bright Creatures, The Beagle Has Landed, An Old Lady is Up to No Good, Warp Your Own Way, and of course, pretty much most of David Sedaris. What else could be next? Rachel and I did go to some live events. We did go on October 30th to see David Sedaris live in Tampa. We also went sometime in September to the Capitol Theater in Clearwater, and we watched Welcome to Night Vale live on stage. I just want to give a shout out to that. Two completely different genres, but definitely something worth mentioning. If you have a live reading from a favorite author or a live performance or a favorite fictional podcast that's coming to your town, go out and see it and experience it. It's very different from your imagination. And that's the wrap up for the 2025 Kasie's Book Journal. I tried to form a gang, but it turned into a book club. That's right, the Spilled Ink and Coffee Show, it's not even a year old yet. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and we look forward to all the new things in 2026. Happy New Year from the Spilled Ink and Coffee Show.
Craving bookish banter? Welcome to the Spilled Ink and Coffee Society. We're your monthly virtual book club. No assigned reading, just bring a book you love and your favorite drink. Register now, it's free. Simply scan the QR code. It's all about stories, laughter, and connecting with fellow readers. So settle in, pour a cup of comfort, and let's spill some ink.